Think all trucks are built to last? Think again. Some fall apart before hitting 50,000 miles. And the data proves it. According to Consumer Reports and mountains of owner complaints, these trucks are packed with hidden flaws, exploding transmissions, electrical nightmares, and engine failures you won't believe. We're breaking down the most dangerous, least reliable pickups you should avoid at all costs. And one of them, it looked great on paper until it triggered a total brand collapse. Before you buy or keep your next truck, watch this countdown. Because what you don't know could cost you thousands. Toyota Tundra. With a reputation built on vehicles that rarely quit, the brand positioned the Tundra as its answer to the full-size truck market. From long-haul towing to rugged reliability, the Toyota Tundra earned its place among worksite warriors and weekend adventurers alike. When Toyota announced a complete redesign for the 2022 model year, expectations soared. This was supposed to be a next-generation Tundra, a cutting-edge evolution of everything drivers loved about the nameplate. What the world got instead was a shock to the system. And not in a good way. The 2022 Toyota Tundra introduced a new twin-turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 engine designed to offer power and efficiency. But soon after launch, owners reported a disturbing trend: turbocharger failures. Specifically, faulty wastegate valves were causing check engine lights, significant power loss, and in some cases, complete performance shutdowns. Toyota issued a widespread recall to address the problem, but the damage to their once untouchable reputation was already done. Things only got worse from there. The truck's new multi-link rear suspension was meant to improve ride quality, but it brought with it a serious defect. A recall revealed that rear axle nuts were loosening during operation, risking total axle shaft separation. This is not just inconvenient, it is a potentially catastrophic mechanical failure. Toyota found itself scrambling to repair not just trucks, but trust. Inside the cabin, the 21st century upgrades also came with headaches. A massive 14-inch touchscreen infotainment system was a key selling point, but owners quickly found themselves dealing with frozen screens and random reboots. In many cases, the only fix was restarting the entire vehicle, an unacceptable flaw in a truck marketed as a tech-forward solution for modern drivers. According to data compiled by Consumer Reports, the Toyota Tundra was ranked dead last in reliability among full-size pickups for the 2022 model year. In a rare move for a brand known for durability, Consumer Reports withdrew its recommended status for the Tundra entirely. Despite moving over 104,000 units that year, Toyota's stumble was impossible to ignore, especially when compared to the more than 653,000 Ford F-Series trucks sold in the same period. Now let's talk about a luxury truck so fragile it could not even handle grocery duty. Lincoln Blackwood. At first glance, the Lincoln Blackwood looked like a luxury dream. With a sleek, black-on-black design, elegant leather interior, and a smooth cushioned ride, it was marketed as the pickup for people who wanted style, sophistication, and status. Lincoln believed it had found a niche that would redefine what a truck could be, one that prioritized comfort over capability, refinement over ruggedness. It was supposed to be the Cadillac of pickups, only it failed so completely that it became a case study in what not to do. Its downfall wasn't just about execution, it was about completely misreading the audience. Luxury truck buyers still needed utility, and the Blackwood offered none. The biggest problem: it tried to be a luxury truck without being a truck at all. The Lincoln Blackwood was fitted with a carpet-lined cargo bed covered by a powered tonneau cover. The result looked like a high-end sedan's trunk, sealed off, delicate, and utterly useless for hauling anything substantial. The tonneau cover was prone to malfunction, often failing to open or close correctly, and was notoriously difficult and expensive to repair. Water intrusion was also a frequent complaint, with the weather sealing unable to keep moisture out of the bed, turning luxury into liability. Owners quickly discovered that the design was more concerned with visual flair than practical engineering, leaving them with an expensive truck that could not perform basic tasks. Functionality aside, the Blackwood lacked options that truck buyers expect as basic necessities. It came in one single configuration, rear-wheel drive only, with no four-wheel drive option available. That is right, On a pickup truck priced at over $52,000 in 2002, you could not even get all-wheel traction. Combined with its limited utility and questionable durability, the truck was effectively a showpiece with no practical value. For buyers in snowy or rural regions, that single configuration was a deal-breaker, making the Blackwood's already niche appeal even more narrow. Underneath the luxury design, the Lincoln Blackwood was essentially a Ford F-150, but without the flexibility or robustness that made the Ford variant so popular. While the suspension did provide a smooth highway ride, it was not engineered for towing or heavy loads, further limiting the vehicle's use cases. The Blackwood wasn't just impractical, it was impractically expensive. And because it shared so much with the F-150 mechanically, many questioned why they were paying a premium for a truck that did less, not more. But if you think that flopped, wait until you see the next car on the list. Hummer H3T. This truck was built to look like a beast, chunky, muscular, and ready for adventure. With its signature Hummer design language, massive stance, and aggressive approach angles, it promised serious off-road prowess. Adventure seekers were immediately drawn to its imposing presence and confident marketing, which suggested it could go anywhere and do anything. However, beneath that bold exterior, the Hummer H3T was hiding a litany of engineering flaws that made it far less durable than it appeared, especially for those expecting it to survive beyond 50,000 miles. It was a textbook example of form over function, style that collapsed under stress. The Hummer H3T was based on the same architecture as the first-generation Chevrolet Colorado, a platform that had already earned a reputation for mechanical and electrical issues. This decision immediately compromised the truck's reliability. Most notably, the H3T came standard with a 3.7-liter inline 5-cylinder engine. On paper, this seemed like a decent powertrain for a mid-sized truck, but in practice, it turned out to be a serious liability. The engine suffered from recurring cylinder head failures, which often caused severe misfires and power loss. These issues frequently appeared well before the 50,000-mile mark, leaving many owners with expensive repair bills and persistent drivability concerns. Worse, the limited number of technicians familiar with these engines made repairs even more difficult to resolve quickly. The problems did not stop with the engine. The cooling system on the H3T, particularly when paired with the optional 5.3-liter V8 engine, was woefully inadequate. Ironically, despite being marketed as an off-road capable vehicle, the truck would often overheat during slow-speed crawling, which is a core requirement for off-road performance. This overheating issue was especially pronounced in warm climates or under heavy load, where owners discovered the truck simply could not handle the terrain it was supposedly designed to conquer. And when those cooling issues hit, performance plummeted, turning trail rides into expensive tow jobs. Compounding those mechanical flaws were other frequent complaints, including premature wear of suspension components, problematic electrical systems, and low payload capacity for its size. The H3T ultimately fell flat in the market. Fewer than 4,000 units were sold in its final year, and General Motors discontinued the entire Hummer brand shortly after. The collapse of Hummer wasn't just due to fuel economy concerns. It was partly due to trucks like the H3T that looked the part, but failed where it mattered most. Although it looked like it could take on mountains, deserts, and trails, this was one truck that was simply built to break. Let us now go from rugged to retro with a truck that forgot it needed to be useful. Chevrolet Supersport Roadster. With its curvaceous retro styling inspired by classic trucks of the 1940s and 1950s, it aimed to capture nostalgia and inject it with modern flair. Its standout feature was a power retractable hardtop roof, making it one of the only convertible pickups ever mass-produced. Chevrolet intended the Supersport Roadster to be a bold statement, part roadster, part utility vehicle. It was a daring concept, meant to appeal to both sports car enthusiasts and those seeking something unique in the truck market. However, in trying to be everything at once, the SSR ended up succeeding at very little, especially when it came to reliability and practicality. Early models of the Supersport Roadster came equipped with a 5.3-liter V8 engine mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. While these specifications suggested a decent performance profile, in reality, the vehicle was sluggish and uninspiring to drive. Owners reported frequent overheating issues, especially when the truck was pushed hard or driven in warm weather. Many also experienced differential whining and driveline vibrations, often requiring dealership intervention long before reaching the 50,000-mile threshold. The SSR's signature retractable hardtop became one of its biggest mechanical liabilities. While the mechanism was novel and visually impressive, it was notoriously unreliable. Many owners encountered failures in the roof motors and alignment systems, causing the top to become stuck midway through operation or to close unevenly. These problems often required highly specialized repairs, which were both costly and difficult to source, as few dealerships were equipped to handle the unique system. From a practical standpoint, the SSR offered minimal utility. The truck bed was small and largely unusable for traditional hauling tasks. Despite being marketed as a convertible pickup, its cargo space was closer to that of a compact car. And with a starting price tag north of $42,000 United States dollars, it entered the same pricing territory as the Chevrolet Corvette, without delivering comparable performance or prestige. The Chevrolet Supersport Roadster was a case of bold design overtaking common sense. It failed to establish a clear identity, leaving sports car purists unimpressed and truck buyers uninterested. Next up is a mid-sized truck that left owners stranded so often, even dealerships stopped stocking it altogether. GMC Canyon. When General Motors Company introduced the first generation of the GMC Canyon, it aimed to capture the growing mid-sized truck market with a blend of rugged styling, compact dimensions, and versatile utility. At first glance, the Canyon seemed like the perfect package, a more refined cousin to the Chevrolet Colorado, promising premium features in a smaller footprint. For buyers looking to downsize from full-size pickups without sacrificing too much capability, the Canyon appeared to be a smart choice. It even boasted better interior finishes and slightly more upscale branding, giving consumers the impression they were stepping into something a cut above the average mid-size truck. However, underneath that polished exterior, the Canyon quickly revealed a slew of problems that doomed its reputation. Most notably, the truck was powered by a 3.5-liter inline 5-cylinder engine, a rare and unusual choice in the pickup segment. This engine suffered from serious reliability flaws, especially related to cylinder head failures. Many owners reported misfires and loss of power due to defective valve seats or dropped valves, sometimes requiring full engine replacement. These failures often occurred well before 50,000 miles, catching drivers off guard and leading to costly repairs. Some mechanics even refused to work on them, citing inconsistent parts availability and high failure rates. The problems did not stop there. Owners regularly encountered issues with faulty ignition switches that could shut off the vehicle unexpectedly, a critical safety hazard that led to multiple recalls. The electrical system proved equally unreliable, with instrument gauge clusters failing at an alarming rate. Fuel level sensors were also prone to malfunction, causing inaccurate readings and leaving drivers stranded with empty tanks. Adding to the frustration were defective airbag wiring systems that compromised safety and triggered warning lights, further eroding consumer trust. Every trip became a gamble, not just in performance but in safety and peace of mind. Sales figures paint a bleak picture of consumer sentiment. While initial years showed some promise, sales of the Canyon fell drastically over time. By the year 2012, General Motors Company sold fewer than 2,200 units in the entire year, an astonishingly low number for a mainstream truck. Many dealerships stopped ordering Canyons altogether, leaving showroom floors void of the model and pushing potential buyers toward more reliable competitors. Even loyal GMC customers found themselves opting for the Sierra or switching brands entirely, unwilling to take another chance on the Canyon. Despite its attractive styling and compact utility, the Canyon became a ghost in the dealership world, a forgotten mid-size pickup that left too many drivers stranded. The damage was so deep that even later redesigns struggled to escape the shadow of the original's failure. But wait until you see the full-size truck that was so poorly received. Even Toyota could not convince people to buy it. The Toyota T100. Aimed squarely at the American full-size pickup segment, the T100 sought to capture the hearts of truck buyers who had traditionally favored domestic models from Ford, Dodge, and General Motors Company. Toyota believed that by offering its signature reliability in a larger package, it could finally break into a market dominated by heavy hitters. The appeal was clear: get a dependable Toyota in a full-size format, but that dream never materialized. The biggest problem was size. The Toyota T100 fell awkwardly between segments. It was too small to be a true full-size pickup, lacking the brawny presence of its American rivals. Yet it was too large and too expensive to compete directly with compact pickups. Buyers expecting the bold stature and towing capabilities of a Ford F-Series or Chevrolet Silverado were left underwhelmed. Compounding the issue was the lack of a V8 engine, a feature considered non-negotiable by most full-size truck buyers in the United States during that era. Instead, Toyota offered only V6 options, initially a 3.0-liter and later a 3.4-liter. These engines, while reliable, were underpowered compared to the competition. Reliability was generally solid but not flawless. Early models suffered from recurring head gasket failures, particularly in the 3.0-liter variant. While Toyota issued recalls and covered many of the repairs, the damage to its reputation among truck buyers was already done. When you combine subpar performance with styling that lacked the aggressive, rugged appeal of American pickups, the T100 simply failed to generate excitement. Its conservative design and limited configurations, especially the absence of an extended cab in early years, only further restricted its appeal. Sales numbers tell the full story. Toyota had hoped the T100 would open the floodgates to a new audience of loyal truck customers. Instead, it was met with lukewarm reception. Sales peaked at just over 40,000 units annually, but by the truck's final year in 1,998, that number had plunged to a mere 6,000 units. For a brand as globally dominant as Toyota, that kind of failure was rare and humbling. In the end, the T100 is remembered not for its mechanical flaws, but for its inability to meet market expectations. It was a reliable truck, yes, but one nobody wanted. From underpowered to overhyped, let us now look at a hybrid truck from General Motors Company that was quietly erased after costing buyers a fortune. The Chevrolet Silverado Hybrid. This was marketed as the future of trucks, a full-size pickup that could haul loads, tow trailers, and still save fuel thanks to advanced hybrid technology. On paper, it sounded like a revolutionary leap forward, co-developed with Bayerische Motorenwerke AG and Chrysler Corporation. The Silverado Hybrid featured a complex two-mode hybrid system that promised improved fuel economy without sacrificing performance. For environmentally conscious truck buyers, this seemed like the best of both worlds. But promises are only as good as their delivery. In the case of the Silverado Hybrid, the reality fell far short. While the truck did deliver modest improvements in city mileage, around a 33% gain over the standard model, the highway economy remained virtually unchanged. For many buyers, this meant the fuel savings were negligible, especially considering the Silverado Hybrid came with a hefty $4,000 premium over its gasoline-only counterpart. Behind the scenes, things only got worse. The high-voltage battery pack, located under the rear seats, was a source of frequent trouble. Overheating issues led to recalls, and some owners reported complete failure of the inverter module that controlled power distribution between the electric and gasoline systems. When this happened, drivers could be left stranded without warning, a frightening prospect in a vehicle designed for heavy-duty use. Worse yet, the hybrid transmission suffered from unpredictable behavior, often shuddering or jerking as it transitioned between electric and gasoline modes. Many owners described the driving experience as unsettling and inconsistent. Mechanical issues aside, the hybrid system also compromised traditional truck features. The Silverado Hybrid had a reduced towing capacity compared to its conventional siblings, and the added weight of the battery system further impacted payload. For a segment where capability is king, these sacrifices were hard to justify. Combined with its reliability problems, the truck struggled to find an audience. The numbers reflect its failure. In its debut year, fewer than 250 units were sold. a catastrophic launch by any standard. Even at its peak, the Silverado Hybrid never broke 1,500 units annually, while regular Silverado models were selling in the hundreds of thousands. By the year 2013, General Motors Company quietly discontinued the Silverado Hybrid, leaving behind one of the most forgettable and problematic experiments in hybrid truck history. Speaking of hybrids, the next truck was supposed to be a symbol of innovation, until owners started smelling coolant inside their transmission. Nissan Frontier. When Nissan finally unveiled the long-overdue redesign of the Frontier in the year 2022, expectations were sky-high. After nearly 2 decades of minor updates and outdated styling, consumers hoped that this all-new version would finally bring modern reliability and refinement to a truck segment that had evolved dramatically, with bold new looks, improved interior materials, and a revised 3.8-liter V6 engine. The 2022 Frontier seemed ready to reclaim its place among the best mid-sized trucks on the market. Unfortunately, those hopes were quickly dashed. Despite its fresh exterior and new engine, the 2022 Frontier was plagued by quality control issues from the moment it left the factory. According to Consumer Reports, the truck earned a dismal reliability score of 23 out of 100, ranking it dead last among its competitors. For many owners, the problems began almost immediately. Interior quality was one of the first red flags. Rattling door panels, loose trim, and squeaking dashboard components became common complaints within the first few thousand miles. The much-hyped infotainment system, designed to compete with offerings from Ford and Toyota, frequently froze or rebooted, forcing drivers to restart the entire vehicle just to regain control. Bluetooth connectivity issues, unresponsive touchscreen inputs, and backup camera failures added to the frustration. But the real trouble started when the Frontier's most serious defect came to light. In late 2022, Nissan issued a massive recall affecting over 180,000 Frontier and Titan models. The issue? A defective parking pawl within the automatic transmission, which could allow the truck to roll away, even when shifted into park. This defect posed a serious safety risk and triggered widespread panic among owners, especially those who regularly parked on hills or near pedestrians. This recall, combined with persistent software glitches and interior build quality concerns, sent the Frontier's sales into a nosedive. After an initial burst of enthusiasm, many prospective buyers simply walked away, unwilling to take a chance on a truck that looked great on the lot but struggled to stay out of the repair shop. For Nissan, the failure of the redesigned Frontier marked yet another misstep in a segment where reliability is king. But believe it or not, the worst was still yet to come. Because the next truck on our list did not just fail to meet expectations, it helped kill an entire product line. Nissan Titan. This truck was supposed to be the company's bold foray into the full-size pickup market, a segment dominated for decades by American giants like Ford, General Motors, and Ram. With aggressive styling, a muscular 5.6-liter V8 engine, and the promise of Japanese reliability, the second-generation Titan launched in the year 2016, with ambitions to carve out a respectable niche in a fiercely competitive field. Nissan publicly stated its goal: sell 100,000 Titans annually in the United States. But that goal never materialized. In fact, the Titan never even reached half that number. By the year 2022, sales had plummeted to a mere 15,000 units. A humiliating figure when compared to the over 700,000 Ford F-Series trucks sold in the same year. So what went wrong? The problems began under the hood and under the truck. The second-generation Titan came with a new 7-speed automatic transmission that quickly developed a reputation for hard shifting, jerking, and premature failure. Owners reported erratic gear changes, hesitation under acceleration, and frequent trips to the dealership for software updates that rarely solved the root problem. Then came the Titan XD, an even larger and more expensive version equipped with a 5.0-liter Cummins diesel engine. On paper, this model was designed to attract buyers who wanted heavy-duty capability without stepping up to a true 3/4-ton truck. But in practice, it was a reliability nightmare. The diesel-powered XD suffered from fuel pump failures, turbocharger issues, and expensive maintenance requirements that made even die-hard diesel fans think twice. Build quality was another area of concern. Interior materials felt outdated even at launch, and electronic gremlins plagued many models, especially with the navigation and driver assist systems. As warranty claims piled up and resale values fell, the Titan's image as a reliable alternative to the Detroit 3 eroded completely. By the year 2023, Nissan made the difficult decision to discontinue the Titan altogether, marking the end of its full-size truck experiment. It was not just a model failure, it was a strategic retreat from an entire segment. The Titan became a textbook example of how poor reliability, unmet expectations, and lukewarm consumer interest can doom a product, no matter how promising it once seemed. If a pickup truck cannot survive 50,000 miles without major issues, can it really call itself a truck? That is the question Nissan's Titan leaves behind. These trucks were supposed to be tough, but the numbers tell a different story. From exploding engines to failing transmissions, they fell apart before hitting 50,000 miles and left thousands of owners with regret. Now we want to hear from you. Have you owned one of these trucks? Did we miss a model that deserves to be on this list? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.